We can start live streaming.
Is it okay with all the speakers? Shall we move ahead? I think it's yes.
Yeah. Please start.
Thank you.
ഓൺലൈനിൽ കിറാത്ത് അല്ല ഏതോർമ്മ മറ്റേ ഉസ്താദ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് അതിനാണ്.
The key to success is not silver or gold. It's not made of copper or steel, but a longing, a sigh, and a yearning to try. A yearning for learning, a burning to try. This short poem by Robin Walker perfectly depicts how efforts are to be made and hurdles are to be crossed in order to create a beneficial society. Recognizing the issues being faced by people, and most often by girls and women to be specific, has always been crucial and at the moment a need of the hour. Citing a very famous and powerful quote that says, "A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong she is until you put her in hot water." Women have now been realizing the power they hold within themselves to change the world and stand for what's right. And there are many platforms with them giving them the support to do so. Aura is one such dais. Aura is a monthly magazine with a difference, and its vision is to expand the boundaries of how women's issues are limited to certain acceptable topics. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Presenting Islamic greetings to all our lovely ladies and audience present here today. I am Afreen Zafar, having the honor to be your host for the event. To begin our event by the blessings of Almighty Allah, without whose guidance we are astray, I would like to invite Sister Soumya Sabir, who carries out the beautiful work as a Quran teacher in Madrasatul Islamia Fahil branch and is also a member of KIG Ladies Wing, Islamic Women's Association Kuwait. I invite Sister Soumya for the recitation of the Holy Quran, followed by its translation.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ma'am.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم كدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء إلا I seek refuge in Allah from the outcast shaitan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. When the sun is wrapped up in darkness, and when the stars fall, dispersing, and when the mountains are removed, and when the pregnant camels are neglected, and when the wild beasts are gathered, and when the seas are filled with fire, and when the souls are paired, and when the female infant who was buried alive is questioned for what sin she was killed, and when the written pages of good and bad deeds of every person are made public, and when the sky is stripped away from its place, and when the hellfire is set ablaze, and when the paradise is brought near. A soul will know what it has brought. So I swear by the retreating stars, those that run their courses and disappear, and by the night as it closes in, and by the dawn when it brightens. Indeed, the Quran is a word conveyed by a noble messenger, Jibril alayhi salam, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who is possessed of power and with the honor of the throne, secure in position, obeyed there in the heavens and trustworthy. And, O people, your companion, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not at all mad. And surely he has seen Jibril alayhi salam in the clear horizon. And Prophet Muhammad is not a withholder of knowledge of the unseen. And the Quran is not the word of a devil expelled from the heavens. So, where are you going? Surely, this Quran is a reminder to the whole world. For whoever wills among you to take a right course, and you do not will except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, the Lord of the worlds. Sadaqallahul Alim.
Jazakallah khair, ma'am, for your beautiful recitation. Aura, since its initiation, has been actively talking about various women's issues consisting of diverse topics through the contributions of its writers and editors, benefiting its readers in multiple ways. I extend my heartiest welcome to all of you gathered here for the experts review session by Aura e-magazine for its February edition, hosted and organized for the very first time by Aura's Readers Club, Kuwait, with joint efforts of Ladies Wing of Indian Muslim Association and Islamic Women Association, Ladies Wing of Kerala Islamic Group. To begin with our event, I invite Sister Shaima to give an introduction of Aura to our experts present in the panel and all of our dear viewers.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, good evening to everybody. My name is Shaima. I am the sub-editor of Aura, and I am very grateful grateful to the organizers, Aura Readers Club Kuwait, all of the moderators and the organizers who have put this wonderful program together. So in the few minutes that I have set aside, I would like to just briefly introduce you to Aura, Aura's journey so far, our plans for the future, and why the vision behind the magazine, and the purpose of programs like this. So Aura was started with a vision to sort of redefine what a woman's magazine, a quintessential women's magazine, is understood to be, and what women's issues are understood to be. Very often, when we talk about women's magazines or even women's issues, or even what women are called to speak at in programs, or what women are expected to write about or think about, there are a very limited set of issues that are sort of handed to us. So to turn the tables, Aura decided that we will come out with a magazine that puts women's voices at the center stage and expands the scope of what women's issues are. So as women, we are all interested in the world around us. We're interested in questions of education, of the environment, of health, of politics, of global politics, of all sorts of issues. So that was one reason why Aura came into being. And the second is sort of hidden in our tagline, which is, which emphasizes on the lost femininity that is often associated with the modern world, and also simultaneously critiquing the misunderstood or misrepresented ideas of femininity that are often imposed on women. So breaking through all these stereotypes, Aura came into being 2 years ago. In fact, March 2023, inshallah, will be our second anniversary issues. So that would be 2 years of Aura in the public realm. So, to commemorate that, we have a lot of things planned. And the reason behind Aura Readers Club, and this has been going on for almost a year now, where every month we get together with our readers, our contributors, with experts from the fields, from their fields, and we look at a sort of creating a feedback loop of what our readers really think about Aura, the mistakes, the corrections that are needed, the improvements that can be done, even their thoughts on the content itself. Like if reading an article has sparked something in their mind, we come together virtually every month so that all of you can like sort of take up an article, critique it, tell us what we could have done better. And through this sort of feedback process, we can get in touch with a lot of people whom we otherwise would not have met, and hope and work towards the fact that hope that you will also write for Aura one day and sort of continue to engage with it as part of this process. So that was the thought behind Aura Readers Club. And as far as Aura's future, as we stand at the 2-year mark, they hope to sort of deepen our engagement, look at new issues. We are thinking of bringing out a special edition print issue is in the works for the month of May, the first time that Aura will ever go into print, inshallah. So all these things are happening and they cannot happen without your support. So on behalf of Team Aura, you will get to hear from our chief editor later. But I hope that this will be a fruitful engagement, that all of you will write for Aura as well in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Jazakallah khair for your beautiful, kind, and very informative words for us. We will be beginning our review session with our esteemed experts panel. We would be going in flow and order of the articles as in the magazine. So in this session today, we have with us our review experts from diverse fields, each unique in their own way, who are going to be sharing their understanding and wisdoms. I request all of our audience to stay tuned till the end to grasp most benefit from this session. I also request all of our speakers to please keep their videos on during their talk. Fasbir sabran jamilan. So be patient with beautiful patience. The article Beautiful Patience mentioned this very gracefully, that the language of patience is more powerful than all the languages in the world. To speak more, further elaborate on it, I would like to invite our very first speaker for the day, Pushpa Devi Pal. Pushpa ma'am is an electrical engineer by profession, working in Al Ahliya Integrated General Trading Contracting Company. Being very pleased to have you with us today, ma'am. Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ma'am.
Actually, it's my pleasure and glad to have you here to be present in this review session. And first of all, I congratulate the chief editors of the Aura magazine, which will be circulated both in English and Hindi also. And in order to say about this magazine, actually this e-magazine particularly enlightens the ideas of a woman and mostly helps them to strengthen themselves in the society. And when I come to the topic, that beautiful patience, which is enlightened by Quran, if I talk about that patience, which is nothing but sabr. If I talk about the sabr and patience, the first and foremost person who is near to the Allah and loved by the Creator will be the person who will be with the most patience. The topic Beautiful Patience enlightened by Quran have reflected clearly about the importance of patience in this magazine by giving examples of some of the prophets. As mentioned here in this article about the prophets Yusuf alayhi salam and Ayyub alayhi salam, who have been very patient in their lives, whatever was the situation, and they have put their full trust on Allah and always hoped that the Creator will give the best to them. And the same happened. Like when we go through the stories of these prophets, we clearly come to know how their lives was like it is very hurtful for them. But despite of all those situations, they had never lost their trust. They had just, like throughout their lives, they were patient and they were just praying Allah to make them come out of this situation. And the same it was happened. They were blessed with good fortune in their earthly life and hereafter also. Now, I want to express from my personal life too that in my early teenage, I was like very anger and hyper for everything. But when I embraced Islam and started learning, it's not like after coming, but everyone has to be in that thing that when I started learning something good, then like when such situations arrive in my life which I cannot handle, so I just left everything and just started to be patient and just speaking to my creator. And I'm just sitting down and speaking to my creator. And like I just make myself to be very patient. And that patience bring me strength to overcome all the situations. And if you are patient, so you may feel a great peace and stressful in your life. I urge everyone to practice or to be a patient, whatever the situation be, and just keep your trust on your creator and just pray him and just ask him whatever you want and be patient in your lives. But nowadays, in this situation, in this era, nowadays we are speaking, now we are seeing like the mankind losing their patience at every small issues. And the same, the coming future generation also learning the same, and they are also behaving the same. Like this is a very like I can say this is a very bad effect which we are giving to our coming kids and coming child and the future generation. I urge everyone to be patient and ask everyone to practice patience and to be patient. And remember, as said in the Quran, Allah will not test you beyond your patience. He will be giving you what is best and what you have not expected at all. So my friends and everyone, I urge everyone to be patient and practice patience and put your trust only on your creator. And at last, I thank everyone to put my reviews and hope, inshallah, this e-magazine Aura and Hadia paves its way to true people's heart, helping them and to strengthen them. And I hope everyone and I urge everyone to go through this e-magazine fully. And I hope everyone to be very patient, please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone. Jazakallah khair.
It is very true that the one with the most patience is the one closest to Almighty Lord. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable views on the article and your personal journey. Hoping all of the listeners were very well benefited by it. Thank you, ma'am. You are what you eat. A proverb very commonly heard by us starts to make a lot of sense when we actually focus on what kinds of food we are consuming. An article deeply focused on a category of food that is pulses has been well put when I invite our next speaker, Fatima Sonu ma'am, to give her opinions and reviews on it. Professionally working as a planning engineer in Hassan Abul Company and an active member of Islamic Women's Association, Ladies Wing of Kerala Islamic Group. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to be part of this review by Aura Magazine. Before I start the review, I would love to say a few words about Aura Magazine itself, because the first time I'm hearing about this magazine, I would love more people to know about it. For all those who haven't heard about the Aura before, I'm here to enlighten them. If you haven't heard of it, you're missing out. Aura is a monthly e-magazine by women and for women. The magazine offers useful resources and advices for modern women. The topics discussed ranges from home, lifestyle, health, economics, politics, parenting and relationships to Islamic teachings and spiritual guidance. Aura aims to empower women by inspiring them to be active and informed contributors to the society. Aura also provides a platform to express their opinions, that is, our opinions, share experience, and celebrate our achievements. Aura also promotes critical thinking and encourages women to explore their identity and heritage. Aura magazine features inspiring stories of women and youth from a variety of backgrounds and professions, which is vivid from people reviewing this magazine. We all are coming from a different, some are doctors, some are engineers. It's a privilege actually. Aura magazine also helps to bridge the gap between traditional and modern culture among Indian women, which is a very debating topic right now. The articles are easy to read and it is written in very simple language, which can both be read by kids and also women of this age. It can also be understood by anyone. All the topics present in the magazine are interesting, informative, and inspiring. They also provide tips of self-care and well-being. With an interactive website, Aura encourages women to connect with each other and promotes inclusivity. Now, coming to the duty or the task which is assigned to me, reviewing the article, as she said, Let's Meet Pulse by Saima Sabrin. Now, the article begins as an interesting and informative look at pulses and their importance in our diets. The author takes us on a journey on pulses, beginning that is a history of pulses to what are pulses, uses of pulses, and how the pulses can be incorporated to our usual diet. That is breakfast, dinner to including lunch. And one of my favorite recipes, she has given different recipes, and one of my favorite recipe is chickpea chocolate cake, which will be equally loved by both adults and children. And she has already also provided chickpea hummus recipe. It also will be will be more loved by people who are living in Middle East, especially. The author also discusses the various types of pulses, their nutrient content, health benefits, and how to incorporate them into our diets. She also looks at some of the challenges of growing and storing pulses, as well as their environmental impact. The author begins with a definition of pulses, describing them as grain legumes, then having a high nutrient density and low environmental footprint. She then goes on to describe many types of pulses and their nutrient contents, like they are dietary fibers and all those kind of things. The author also gives the benefits of how looks at the environmental impact of consuming pulses, which she notes in much lower other dietary sources of proteins. And she says growing pulses needs less amount, that is lower amount of water than other kind of protein giving crops. She mentions that is requires less water and fewer chemical nutrients for growing the pulses. Overall, the article is well written. I couldn't find anything to criticize about, though I have to critically comment on it. I couldn't find. Overall, it's a very beautifully written and simply written, which can be read and understood by anybody who is going to read it. Provides a comprehensive overview of pulses, nutrient composition, health benefits, and how to incorporate them into our diets, which makes this article a valuable resource for anyone looking to increase their pulse consumption. And finally, concluding, I highly encourage each and every one of you to check out Aura and see what's it all about. I assure you, you won't be disappointed in it. Again, it's a pleasure doing this. And for all the people working behind Aura, you guys are doing a wonderful job. And congrats to you on all the upcoming journey of Aura throughout your life. Thank you for your invitation and your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallahu khair, ma'am. Indeed, Aura is the special platform that you have spoken about. And it is also so amusing that a simple food category can be defined in such depth and how in diverse ways it benefits us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your vital reviews on the article. The noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "There are two blessings which many people do not make the most of and thus lose out: good health and free time." I invite our next reviewer, Dr. Salwa Yasin, to share her thoughts on the topic healthy life and Islamic perspective.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings to all of you present here today with us. Thank you so much, Aura, for giving me the opportunity. It's indeed my pleasure to be here and sharing my reviews on the article. I must say that your work and contribution towards women's empowerment, education, and even being their voices, especially in today's era, is highly impressive, praiseworthy, and it is much needed. So hope you continue with this great work, and may Allah bless your efforts. I'd be sharing my reviews on the article Healthy Lifestyle and Islamic Perspective. Now, what caught my attention regarding this article was the opening statement. The author has beautifully opened the article with the statement, Islam is a religion of nature. Now, Islam is a religion of fitra. Fitra is an Arabic word which is being constantly used. What does it mean by fitra? It's basically the natural instinct of a human, the natural disposition of a man, and the innate nature or the innate ability, the inbuilt, the internal thing inside of a man, which is called fitra. Now, we humans, we have a reservoir of potential inside us. We have a natural tendency towards goodness, towards righteousness, towards cleanliness or hygiene, or even like we are inclined naturally towards healthy lifestyle. But I know the surroundings and the external environment sometimes spoils us. And what exactly taps this potential, what exactly channelizes this fitra, is the divine laws from the Quran and Sunnah. The other statement which he has mentioned, that Islam is a way of life, or which takes a holistic approach to health and well-being. If you see whatever the do's and don'ts are, even regarding our health, the do's and don'ts, they are in alignment with our body, and they're in alignment with the natural circumstances as well. The author has also mentioned about these sleeping and waking up patterns. Like he has emphasized on the author has emphasized on, he has stressed on the importance of sleeping and waking on time, the food, and how it contributes to our health and well-being. One such thing I would like to add on here is about the circadian rhythm. I'm sure all of you are familiar by circadian rhythm. It's the 24-hour clock. It's the internal build of our body. It works around the 24-hour clock. So if you look at it, with the sunrise at 6 a.m., we wake up. And here, the insulin level in the body is high. The cortisol levels, they shoot up. And the chances of an hypoglycemic attack is high. When I say hypoglycemic attack, that means the sugar level in our body goes low. And especially if it is a diabetic patient, at night he takes his insulin dosage, and in the morning, by 6 a.m., let's say, the levels go low. So if you ask any health expert, they will advise you to have your breakfast by early in the morning, by 6 or 7 a.m. And the thing is here, the Prophet ﷺ, we have been ordered to get up for our Fajr prayer, which is early morning prayer. And after that, it was his habit to have honey water. So when you see here, it's a routine which we do, but how it is in alignment with the circadian rhythm. That is, at this time when the insulin level goes too low, you are taking a sugar intake, which basically counteracts the effect of insulin and thus preventing from the hypoglycemic attack. So you see, whatever the do's and don'ts are in alignment with it. Apart from this, the author also mentions about the two blessings which usually an individual is negligent about, that is health and time, health and free time, which I think Sister Afreen has also mentioned about it a while ago. So these two are the blessing when we only realize it once we lose it. And he goes on to mention the famous hadith about taking advantage of 5 before 5. That is youth before old age, health before illness, richness before poverty, free time before being occupied, and life before death. Okay. And the other thing, and with which I would like to conclude my review, is that the content has been very rich. all the hadith and the quotations are from the Quran and Sunnah, which is very authentic. And something which again was impressive is the fact that the author has included cleanliness as a factor which contributes to health and well-being. Usually when we think about health and well-being, what comes to our mind is the diet, water intake, our sleeping patterns, the exercises, etc. And so that we do not live a sedentary lifestyle, which may contribute to diseases. But here the author has included the cleanliness playing a key role as a factor which contributes to health. Only when your environment is clean, your physical area is clean, also it does contribute to your health directly or indirectly. And yes, I think this has been my review about the article. It's a great work. Whatever you're doing is something really beneficial. Hope you continue with this. But I had some constructive feedback regarding the article. Now, me as a reader, when I read the article, I felt that some basic elements in writing an article were missing. There was a disconnect. Okay, some points could have been gone in a flow, and the introduction, the body, and the outline were not really connected. So if this can be worked upon, this is my suggestion to the Aura magazine, if they can look into this as well. And Jazakumullah khair for giving me this opportunity once again, and wish you all the best. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khair, ma'am. It was surely very benefiting to hear from a health professional like you in such detail about living a healthy and positive lifestyle, paying attention to many factors that are around us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your informative words and critical views on the article. Family, where life begins and love never ends. A beautiful set of people we don't choose but are gifted with. To shed light of reviews on the next article, The Beauty of Familial Love, I invite from among our experienced panel today, our next speaker, Dr. Navjot Kaur. She is a behavioral counselor and psychotherapist, also a board member of Mind Me Mental Health Campaign Kuwait and department head at Indian School Kuwait, a member of Kuwait Counselors Network and Middle East Psychological Association Kuwait. Dr. Navjot specializes in behavioral counseling and cognitive behavioral therapy and offers psychotherapy to people going through emotional and psychological difficulties. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Assalamu alaikum to all. A very warm good afternoon to all. I'm Dr. Navjot, and I thank Aura Readers Club for having me here. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the editorial team of Aura magazine for such a wonderful magazine. Your magazine is raising awareness on issues related to women and is helping them to voice their opinions and concerns related to women's issues, be it personal, be it emotional, be it psychological, be it political, social. So congratulations to you. You are doing a commendable job. I hope I'm audible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Today, I'll be sharing my thoughts on a beautiful and well-written article by Shamim Khan, Beauty of Familial Love. Family, a very sweet word, a very sweet name that we all can relate to. Family is regarded as the first school of virtues. So we learn all the virtues like loving, sharing, kindness, simplicity, humility, industriousness, charity. All this is learned through our family. We learn to love and feel loved by our family. And family love can have a big impact on our upbringing, on our psychological well-being. But modern life has its own challenges. Modern life has its own problems. So when it comes to modern life, there are so many problems that are associated with that. And it can affect us both positively and negatively. Harvard research was done, and they did a study on 81 men, and they found that those people who had a warm parenting, who had warmth of familial love, So they could maintain close partnerships in their later life, and the degree of warmthness and closeness with the family members that could facilitate or that could inhibit their growth. But when it comes to the problems that we face in this modern life, all this can hamper this very fabric of family life, and it can disintegrate it. So in modern life, we can see that there is unfaithfulness, there is infidelity, there is adultery, people are cheating, people are lying, and all these things, they are having a big impact. They are negatively impacting a family life. So when children, they grow up in supporting family, it helps them to develop into emotionally healthy beings. But when they grow up in unhealthy and unsupportive families, that has a negative impact on that. Now, coming back to the article, this article highlights inherent need of human beings to love and care, and to be loved and cared by others. And this need of love and care is fulfilled by the family. We all know importance of family. We all know importance of mother's lap. We all know importance of father's hug, admiration and support from our partners, our closed ones, giggles of our children, their smiles and all. All these have a potential to make us happy. They have a potential to make us feel secure, blessed, raise our confidence and enhance our self-esteem. But the problems that I mentioned earlier, the problem that author has mentioned, like adultery and unfaithfulness, infidelity, jealousy, peer pressure, could be narcissism, could be domestic violence and all. These have led to exponential rise in disturbing the family structure. And we can see that there are broken marriages, there are unhappy homes, there are disturbed relationships, there are conflicts, there is anger, there is sadness, depression has risen to a great level. And all this has disintegrated the family pattern, family structure. If we look at our ancestors, they were much happier. They were much happier than us, but maybe they were not that affluent. They did not have that much abundance. They did not have comforts of life, but still they were happier than us. But we, instead of having all that, we have abundance, we have affluence, we have all the comforts, but still we are not happy. We are not leading fulfilling and satisfying lives. Okay, so that is what the author has tried to highlight in this article. So what can be done to bring about that peace and harmony? How can we better these relationships? So there are psychological aspects of these problems, but author didn't mention anything about the psychological aspects of these problems, but he mentioned on the religious aspects of the perspective. So I'll be talking about the religious aspects. Author has highlighted 6 dictates of Islam, and according to author, holding on to these 6 dictates of Islam can help us to bring back peace and harmony of family life. And they are praying together. So praying together in Islam is given very much importance, and they say it binds the family together and it heads us to the paths of righteousness. They say that when we pray together, we are praying as a unit. And when we pray as a unit, it makes Allah happy and we earn Allah's love and His mercy. Then he talks about benevolent relationships between husband and wife. When a man and a woman, they get married, they no longer remain separate entities. They do no longer remain as separate individuals, but they work as a team. Man basically takes all the financial duties and all, and women supports men, but many women are supporting men financially also. But mainly financial part is taken by man, and women takes care of home, takes care of his parents, take care of the kids and all. So Islam emphasizes on mutual love, respect, and benevolence between man and woman. So both should give each other respect. Both should wish well for each other. And no doubt, every relationship has problems. Every relationship has some kind of strain, some kind of, sometimes our egos clash, sometimes there could be disagreements, okay? But we have to keep aside all these disagreements. We have to keep aside all these egos, and we need to understand each other so that we can integrate our family and we can work better. Next thing that author has talked about is showering love and care on children. So they say children should be given love. And I think this is the most important thing. Our children need love and care. Children don't need toys. Children don't need other things. The most important thing they need is love and care of parents. And many parents, they do love their kids, but they do not express. So it's very important for parents to express their love for their children and to inculcate good values and to nurture this relationship, so that, because when children do not get that love, care, and attention in the formative years of their life, maybe they have problems in their later life. So it's very important for parents to love and express their love for their children so that they can develop into healthy human beings. Next thing the author has mentioned is catering to the needs of family and spending on them. So father or the breadwinner of the family caters to the needs of children and spends money on them. And Islam's give very high importance to the money spent on family. And it is also regarded as charity. They say that the money that you spend on your children, that is also a charity. So when you spend on your family, you are earning Allah's blessings. So that should also be taken care of. And then author has talked about maintaining good relationship with relatives. So they say we should take care of our relatives. And in the modern times, we do not have time for, we are so caught up in our day-to-day life. We don't have time for anyone. We don't have time for our relatives. And that takes a backstage, but I think we all should think about our relatives. We should maintain good relations with them. And according to Quran, Holy Quran, they say if you help your relatives, or if you have strong ties with your relatives, you will earn double rewards. Because one way you are doing some kind of charity for them, you are doing that zakat thing. And at the same time, you are strengthening the ties. Okay, so you'll be reaping double benefits for that work. So this is again highlighted by the author. And the last thing that author has mentioned is leading by example. So Holy Quran has so many examples that we all should follow. So we should live by those examples. We should lead our life by those examples. And that would be beneficial. And in the end, author has given some tips for the betterment of relations. Giving presents, giving gifts, that is given importance. And they say that removes malice from hearts. Then staying in touch with your loved ones. If you cannot meet them, at least you can be in touch over the phone. And to be resilient and not to retaliate, because it's human nature when we feel that others are not whatever you do for them, you are not praised for that, you are not appreciated for that. And sometimes people may not like what you do for them, or your efforts are not rewarded. We may feel bad, we may retaliate, or we may become angry, but we don't have to lose our patience. We have to be resilient. We have to be really, really patient. Okay. The next thing next tip is forgiving and letting go. I think this is a very important tip. We all need to forgive others. We need to let go of the things, because when we keep things inside, it harms us. It's not good for us. It it's like it does not give us mental peace. So it's very important for us to forgive and let go. And they have mentioned about story of Prophet Yusuf, who was mistreated by his brothers. He was like, they played some tricks and he was mistreated, and then he had to go through many trials, and he had to go through like a lot of suffering and all. But in the end, he was rewarded and he was elevated to a high level, and people still remember him. Prophet Yusuf's name is it stands tall in the history of Islam. Then helping your relatives and fellow men in the times of need, that is also given importance, and praying for others. The last tip that author has mentioned is praying for others. So we should pray for others. We all pray for ourselves. We all pray for our kids, for our family, for our parents. But when you pray for others, I think that gives you inner peace. So pray for others, and according to the dictates of Islam, when you pray for others, angels pray for you, and you are rewarded for that. Okay, so article was well written, but I feel that psychological aspects were not taken into consideration. So yeah, those things should be taken care of. Yes, but maybe this article was meant for this Islamic Islamic perspective and all. So overall, it was a good article. I enjoyed it, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Truly, patterns and styles of parenting working towards a strong family union have huge impacts on societies and on individual families as well. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your reviews on the article and your inspirational words in such a calm and comforting manner, giving your thoughts in detail on the religious aspects as mentioned by the author. It was a pleasure listening to you. Thank you, ma'am. In a world where misogyny and sexism are being reinforced daily rather than abating, a day which is an important reminder of the contributions of women to humanity. The International Day of Women and Girls in Science, celebrated on the 11th of February, holds a lot of importance. To give us more insights and views on this article, I would like to welcome our next speaker, Neeta Bhatkar Chogle, who holds the designation of PR Manager in Kuwait's leading low-cost carrier, Jazeera Airways, having over 2 decades of experience in her field and previously worked with various multinational organizations like Agility, National Aviation Services, and ASDAP Public Relations. She has also worked with the Times newspaper in Kuwait. Neeta ma'am is also active in community service as a core member of the Indian Women's Association in Kuwait, a voluntary organization that supports several humanitarian initiatives in Kuwait and India. I welcome you, ma'am, to give us your valuable reviews.
Thank you so much, Afreen, for the glowing introduction. I think that was a bit too much. I'm Neeta, not Neeta ma'am. So pleasure to be here with such an eminent panel. I think I'm a small part of this great panel that we're discussing Aura with today. Thank you so much for having me here because I think Aura is, as a magazine for the women, by the women, does a tremendous job. We are currently in the 24th edition. I heard we're going to be celebrating 2 years very, very soon. So congratulations on that in advance. And simply put, just being here to review the section that is called Women's Hub, I think that is a great honor by itself. As Afreen mentioned, the topic that I was given to review was International Day of Women and Girls in Science. It was an article written by Binte Arshad. And I think the article covered a lot of important points in the sense that it was very well written, very informative, a lot of strong data to support the points that were raised. But I'm not going to dissect the article. I think I'm going to encourage each and every one of you and our viewers today to actually open the magazine. It's easily available online. It's so easy to read through. I love the flipping action of the magazine. So, develops an interest in reading as well. So I would highly recommend all of you do take a look at the magazine. What I would like to, however, highlight is a few parts that I really, really enjoyed. So the article, as I mentioned, talks about the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. It is an initiative by the UN and UNESCO. And it is basically to increase participation of women and girls in the STEM stream. So that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's a pleasure, actually, because as I was listening to our speakers today and looking at the little flyer that we distributed earlier, I see Fatima and Pushpa as engineers. I see Dr. Salwa, I see Dr. Navjot. I haven't heard the rest of the speakers, but it's so nice to see all of you here because this topic is actually encouraging that, right? And one of my favorite parts of the article said, women bring a unique perspective that leads to enrichment and advancement in the existing repository of knowledge. And that's so true, right? Because as mothers, as sisters, as basically family leaders, some of us call ourselves housewives. We're not housewives, we're domestic engineers. We actually drive the thought process. We encourage, we build the culture of the family. So, Dr. Navjot was speaking about family and the importance of family, and all of this is made possible more by the women of the family than the men, right? We all know this. And I think that is where educating women, which is also a point raised in the article, that if we have educated and enlightened women, they become assets to society. And I always promote this because if the leader of a household is educated and she has the right knowledge and expertise to give on to her children, we're building generations and generations of educated women and men, because we have to also teach and train the future men in our surroundings, because they are the ones who will then, along with the women, encourage our future generations of doctors, engineers, scientists, so on and so forth. So the article was very thought-provoking. It really raised awareness on a lot of points that we all need to know about. Very informative, again, as I highlighted, and very good data. I think the only thing that I would add to the article is to bring in some more current names, especially from India, along with the likes of Engineer Fatma, Engineer Pushpa, Dr. Salwa, Dr. Navjot. We also have such eminent scientists and doctors in India. So, the Tessie Thomases of the world. She's an Indian women scientist who was the former project director of the Agni 4 missile in India. How many of us really know that? Or Ritu Karidal, who is known as the Rocket Woman of India. She was the mission director for Chandrayaan-2, our lunar mission in India. Kalpana Chawla is a name that all of us know, the late Kalpana Chawla. There is also Dr. Aditi Pant, who's an oceanographer. She was one of the first Indian women to visit Antarctica and to study geology. So she was from the STEM field as well. There's also Dr. Indira Ahuja, who's a gynecologist and obstetrician. She is one of the doctors that pioneered GIFT, which is the gamete intrafallopian transfer. Basically, it's a science of in vitro fertilization. So we have so many strong women around us currently. I think, a little more of that would have added some more current perspective, but definitely the article leaves you thinking and leaves you wondering what we should be doing to push this forward. So let's encourage our girls, let's encourage our women, let's build a future generation that is very strong in science, technology, engineering, and math. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you so much.
Salute to those strong women personalities you shared with us today, ma'am. More power to all the women working strong and beautifully in their fields. I thank you, ma'am, for your beneficial views on this topic. Indeed, all the ladies and girls must be feeling a lot more empowered and motivated after listening to you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Inshallah, thank you.
Thank you. Maya Angelou once said, having courage does not mean that we are unafraid. Having courage and showing courage mean we face our fears. We are able to say, I have fallen, but I will get up. With a review of the next article from Life Lessons, Face Your Fears, I would like to invite Mariam Afroz ma'am, hailing from Chennai. She holds a double master's in the fields of education and business administration and is an educator and trainer. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Afrin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace, mercy, and blessings of Almighty be upon you. A pleasant afternoon to one and all. Before I begin with a review of the article, I'd like to present a short summary, real quick, for those who may not have found the time or opportunity to read through. Do not fear failure, but rather fear not trying. This quote is the crux of the article Ms. Aisha Syed writes, titled Face Your Fears. The article kicks off with a statement, I quote, "We all have fears," unquote. It goes on to discuss irrational fear, fear of change and transformation. The article further discusses the human tendency to handle fear or flee from it, and how fear results in crippling the lives of people if left unattended. The fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of not meeting expectations are stated as some of the reasons that affect the quality of life. The article goes on to give 4 solutions to deal with fear. They are: validate your feelings, believe in yourself, have a positive attitude, and hold on to hope. The article emphasizes constantly on trying and making an effort to face the fear. It finally concludes with an advice to seek professional help, as mental health is extremely important, especially if the fear is based on a history of incidents. Without further delay, I'd like to delve into my humble insights on this article on life lessons. Firstly, the title, Face Your Fears, is a fine choice because the past couple of years have been dreadful for people due to COVID across the globe. Being able to help analyze and address one's fear is a great move by the writer in those that are trapped in a terrible quality of life, mainly due to their fears. Secondly, the fear of failure in exams, tasks, job interviews, etc., is impacted by the society, and the individual has to pay the price. The flow of thoughts in this article is real and valid, presented in a simple language. Finally, the article is complete in the sense that it does not bluntly discuss the problems. Rather, an array of solutions are presented to the readers. Like, besides trying to face our fears, we may need to change the way we feel and moving from pessimism to optimistic thinking. The article was charismatically begun and thoughtfully concluded. Now, that being said, in my opinion, there are a few points that the writer may have considered including. The first one would be, as the article began, I realized the lack of examples, for a better understanding of the concept for all age groups. For example, speaking of fear of change, at an individual level, I'm taking myself. If I fail to learn the modern technology, if I fail to learn to move, from a regular phone to a smartphone, I'll be the loser. I'm going to be facing isolation. And on the other hand, taking the fear of change at a group or organizational level, we all know of pioneers like Nokia and Kodak. These companies failed. They were literally wiped the market because they did not adapt to change. Secondly, fear can either be motivational or it can be detrimental. Like anger, fear is also an emotion, and if directed rightly, it could have excellent results. With reference to this article, I was reminded of a scientist who once decided to perform an experiment. So he put 2 lambs in 2 different cages. The lambs were of the same age, same weight, and were fed the same food. Everything was the same. Now, in the 3rd cage, he put a wolf in such a way that only one lamb could see it, and the other lamb was oblivious to the wolf being present. Months passed, and the lamb who couldn't see the wolf was healthy, whilst the lamb that saw the wolf became weak, restless, and died out of nothing but fear. This lamb was safe in its own zone, but it couldn't handle the stress and anxiety. This experiment was performed by Ibn Sina, who lived between 980 and 1037 CE. This was an example of fear being detrimental. Speaking of life, it is not just physical existence, but it's transcendental. Health of body, mind, and soul are all important. I just read that in a research paper, worrying about things, beyond our control was reported as 91.4%, according to a study by Lucas and Michelle. It's about, literally worrying about things that are not in our control. And look at the percentage, it is alarming. And coming to motivational fear, where fear plays the role of prime motivation in either doing something or refraining from it. Say, for instance, I want to rob someone, but the fear that I will be jailed, or even worse, that God will punish me, stops me from doing horrid things. That is, if I have a conscience. In chapter 5, verse 44 of the Quran, Almighty Allah says, "Do not fear the people, but fear me." And in chapter 65, verse 2, he goes on to say, "And whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out." And continues, "and will provide for him from where he does not expect." Productive worry and rational fears must be worked upon. On the other hand, for the things that are beyond our precinct, it's always comfort to know that there is someone to take care of you, who sees you. And in the above verses, Allah promises that He will make a way out. To conclude, I thoroughly felt the article, and I hope that there is a continuation, because it was a very short article, and I hoped a lot of things could have been added. And I genuinely hope to read a continuation of it in maybe the upcoming issues of Aura magazine. I thank everyone for being a patient audience, and I'm grateful for this gratifying opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us such an, in-depth insight on the solutions on facing our fears, along with very useful examples for the viewers to understand. Thank you so much. Hillary Clinton said, "Women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world." To shed light on how events like Gulbarga's commercial fair become encouraging platforms for women, especially the budding entrepreneurs among them, I would like to invite our next speaker for the day, herself being a leading entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Malik Welfare Trust, Dr. Samina Malik. She holds an honorary doctorate, a recipient of International Mother Teresa Award, and a very active social worker through her efforts in education and women empowerment. I welcome Samina Malik ma'am to please share her views with us. Ma'am, you can unmute yourself and continue, please.
I have unmuted her, but I think there's some network issue. It's very low quality video.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. I'm so happy to see Afreen, Shama, and Dr. Salwa, young girls here. It's a pleasure, and thank you, Aura Magazine, for giving us platform and giving the young girls platform to express their views. And the article I was reading about, it was international trade, which was held in Gulbarga.
I think you are mute. Can you unmute yourself?
No, she's not mute, but there is some problem. It's unmuted only. Maybe till it gets figured out, the next speaker can.
Okay, ma'am. We can move on to the next speaker while this network issue can be.
No, ask her to try without video once.
Samina ma'am, can you try it just with your audio and not with your video? Then maybe it will work better.
Video is off only, actually.
Sorry about the inconvenience. And I really thank Aura Magazine for giving us the platform, and especially the young girls like Afreen, Shama, and Dr. Salwa. It was very informative. And I was given the article about International Trade Fair, which was held in Gulbarga. And the author has mentioned very beautifully how Sulaiman alayhi salam established 2 seaports to have the trade. And then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also used to go travel to Syria and Yemen for the trade. And he explained how the Sahaba of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to distribute their wealth, although there were very few billionaires at that time, but there was no poverty because of the zakat system and the sadaqah and charity system. And when I was reading this article, one verse got stuck into my head. Inna Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'air Allah. Indeed, Safa and Marwa are the signs of mankind, Allah's signs, Allah's landmark. So, I used to get stuck to this ayat. There are beautiful mountains like Grand Canyon and highest mountain like Mount Everest. How come Safa and Marwa are the landmarks of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It goes to the story of Bibi Hajar. Bibi Hajar, she is, according to me, is the exemplary and legendary entrepreneur of all time. Prophet Ibrahim, he left her there with her small infant, and there was no means of survival at that time, and there was no water, no food, and there was no human. There's nobody there. I guess just the wild animals like spiders and snakes, desert snakes and whatnot. But there was nothing else. So Bibi Hajar, she could have complained, she could have showed her grievances and be upset with her husband saying, what you are doing to me. And she was the second wife. So she could have blamed Bibi Sarah for doing this, but she kept all that negativity aside and she asked her husband, is that the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He nodded yes. Then she said, Allah will never neglect me. That's the moment new Hajar was born. And she knew that Allah will not leave her alone. okay, this is the one aspect that she knew, she believed that the help will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But she did not just sat down there waiting for Allah's help to come. She left the baby in the valley of Makkah and she climbed to Safa and Marwa and she ran 7 times from Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa, Safa to Marwa. One time she was looking at her baby, and one time she is looking down the mountain, down the hills. Is there any help coming? And one time she was looking at the sky. Allah, I seek your help. So that trust in Allah, still hard work from her side. Allah loved her actions so much that we all Muslim go to Makkah for Umrah and Hajj, we follow her footsteps. That's so amazing for me. Now the followers, I was checking on internet, Cristiano Ronaldo, he has the biggest followers over Instagram. But subhanallah, look at the followers of Bibi Hajar. We, all the Muslims from 1400 years, we are following her footsteps. And this is one aspect that we are following her footsteps. Second aspect is the water Zamzam. It has been benefiting for improvement of health, spiritual reason, as well as commercial reason, because the water was there, the tribes came, started settling down there, and then the desert blossomed into a beautiful community and the trade started. So one lady, just one lady, leaving her negativity aside, putting trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and trying her best, made her remembered forever. So until now, Saudi Arabia is making money. Even the financial gains the Saudi Arabia is having because of Hajj and Umrah, it's immense. I mean, it's incredible. So the example of Bibi Hajar for me as a woman and entrepreneur is incredible. And the article mentioned about Shri Nasi, I think he or she, I don't know, they painted a picture of Kaaba, and Neela, she painted picture of green tomb, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Shahid Pasha, he painted theme of Ramayana. So the author was explaining how the atmosphere of brotherhood helps to grow each other, and uni, unity in diversity, that's the need of the day. And one more thing he was mentioning, how the Sahaba Akram, they used to use their wealth not to make themselves richer and richer, but to beautify the cities, to establish the libraries, to help education system, to help irrigation system, to develop the society. So we have to keep our greed aside and then work on constructiveness of ourselves and for the society. While reading this article, even Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of Pepsi Cola, that also came to my mind, that she was from such a humble background. Although her grandfather was a judge, and I was reading her book about my life, says it all about my life. I just forgot the name of the article, My Life in Full. So in that book, she was mentioning that it was their daily routine to read books, and even on her birthdays, they used to get books as the birthday presents. And she says, all Muslims, we know that Prophet ﷺ mentioned that be a student all your life. So I was surprised when Indra Nooyi, in her points, she were mentioning that please be a lifelong student. And what else she said, please help others rise. Greatness comes not from a position, but from others, but from helping others to build their future. And the last thing which I remember reading her book is that my immigrant fear always motivates me and drives myself to work harder and better to do my job every day. So we heard about how to overcome fear. Fear is not a bad thing. if you can overcome fear, or if you can work fear as a tool to motivate yourself, nothing can stop you. Before I end, I would like to give one more example. I was reading about Mrs. B. She was Rose Blumkin. She migrated from Russia in 1917 to United States, and she did not know how to read and write. For 20 years, she tried to save her money. She helped her family, bringing them from Russia to United States. And after 20 years, in 1937, she was able to collect $2,500. And with that, she started a small company uh, for furniture showroom in Omaha. And in 1983, she sold her company for $60 million to Warren Buffett. And that company was, I think, now doing 1.5 billion turnover every year. And I was listening to the interview of her daughter. Her daughter said for her, customer is like like God. I should not say this over this platform because customer is God. Maybe it's not a fair comment for us, but she strives hard in customer delight. And she was saying that I buy things on right price and I sell it cheap. She doesn't know how to read and write. She learned very simple words from her daughter. Whenever her daughter goes to school, come back the same day, she used to teach her mother what she learned from school. So she learned that way, and she was able to establish $60 million company. And what is amazing is after selling the company, she still worked for Warren Buffett, and she retired, I think, when she was 98 or something, and she used to work for 7 days a week and 3 days night shift. So that is what we have to cultivate in us. If we have determination to succeed, nothing can stop us. So it's all our mental mindset, how to fight for our existence and to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as we are striving hard, striving in right direction, and whatever you are blessed with, keep your negativity aside. We cannot change the situation. Being a woman entrepreneur doesn't mean you have to make a lot of money. That's not being an entrepreneur. If you are raising good kids, that's tremendous job you are doing. If you are making your household happy, your husband happy, your relatives happy, that's for me is being woman entrepreneur. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair, and I'm so sorry about the camera mishap, and inshallah talk to you soon. Take care. On to your Afreen.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Giving examples from history of how entrepreneurs are built through efforts and facing many hardships, and how small steps lead to great results which benefit oneself and the society as well. And in this journey, how brotherhood being there for one another is valued and essential to any and all kinds of successful work. Jazakallah khair, ma'am, for your inspiring words, using beautiful and very informative examples of great personalities. Further, moving on, honoring the lives of personalities who sacrificed, endured hardships, and gave this world and the societies huge life lessons. To speak more on such personalities and our next articles, I would like to welcome our next review expert, Mehnaz Mohammed, hailing from Goa and residing in Kuwait for the past 15 years. Having completed her bachelor's in financial accounting, auditing, and taxation, she is a supply chain and planning manager in Al Shaya Associate and an active member of IMA Ladies Wing. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Afreen. Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace and blessings be with you all. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate Aura e-magazine for successfully arranging an era of splendid written works, portraying different aspects of the happenings in the world. There are two articles which I will be reviewing. The first article which I will be reviewing over here on this platform is of a great personality, a Dalit activist, Shantabai Kamble, an Ambedkarite who struggled for justice, and the lessons that we learn from this personality. She recently passed away on the 25th of January 2023 at the age of 99. The author has very beautifully given us an insight into her struggling life and her fight against untouchability. In her book's dedication, Shantabai Kamli writes, "To my Ai Baba, who worked the entire day in hot glaring sun, hungry and without water, and through the drudgery of labor, with hunger pinching their stomachs, who educated me and brought me from darkness to light." A personality with a vivid perspective on the daily happenings of struggling communities in India, Shantabai portrays the image of an Ambedkarite fighting for evil injustice of untouchability. The caste system has always had a strong and fearsome hold on the working society in India. It has ruined lives and careers, but a negative force always is opposite by a positive one. It is this positive force that has brought into this world marvelous of thinkers, writers, and activists. It is this message that the writer of this article portrays through a prime example, the life of Shantabai Kamble. She was renowned for having written Madhya Jalmachi Chitrakatha, writes the author, an autobiographic narration of her life and struggle for education in a highly stratified world. The author further expresses the incident of when Shantabai was made to stand outside her classroom for being a Dalit amongst other students of her kind. Even so, writes the author, she completed her education and became a teacher at Women's College, Pune. Shantabai in 1957 accepted Buddhism, a religion she expressed as one which allowed her to love a broader spectrum of human life. Her work, the writer has written, has been serialized to Mumbai Doordarshan, lifting her to an extent of dignity. She inspired generations of writers and thinkers and activists. The writer says, challenging the inequalities of society around them through art and words. Indeed, it is true. When voices are collectively raised against the wrong, what choice is it left with other than to cover away and disappear? I found this article very beautifully written about this great personality. It gave us a great insight. However, it was short, but the whole aspect of the lessons that we learned was covered in this article. The next article that I will be reviewing today is about what is prevailing among the youth of the world. It is a hot topic. It's about esports, online gaming, and gambling. This topic, which requires a lot of thought and perspective. And it is this that the author has delivered with shattering delicacy. Online gaming, gambling, and esports display a major force over young youth and commercial trackways. This force hasn't always necessarily been in control. It has given rise to evils such as gambling, addiction, and violence. There have been several attempts and rules initiated concerning this matter. But people being with our own minds, we must realize the ethical and moral perspectives that come together with these aspects. In the words of the author, the issue needs to be analyzed through a moral prism and not merely its commercial utility. The author reveals to us stats in this article. He has mentioned of 30% growth per year. The industry in a nutshell is growing and is expected to flourish even more. They also tell us that according to the surveys, online gamers spend around 2 hours playing their favorite games on various devices such as mobiles, PlayStations, PCs, etc. This steady increase is not only in the gaming sector, but also in the gambling sector. India's gambling industry is as large as $60 billion, of which the majority works through illegal networks. The author has written that given the enormity of the time and the money involved in this industry, calls for regulation were natural, and the government took applicable steps in that direction. And the steps were indeed taken. Online gaming and esports are now regulated by the Ministry of Electronics and IT and the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. The government, keeping in mind its significance in a $1 trillion economy, has aided innovation while also inhibiting illegal activities. All these steps haven't reduced the moral effects that are taking place among the youth. Even so, which the author explains further in separate parts. He begins with the most common of all, addiction. In the world of author, we are losing some of the brightest young minds to the addiction to video games. He also quotes a game developer to say, video games are all about the dynamics of adrenaline. And the easiest way to spike someone's adrenaline is to make him think he is going to die. The youth get used to this adrenaline high and over a long time affect addicted. The next issue that has been brought to light is the health hazard. Several complications such as the gamer's thumb, obesity, vision problems, poor concentration are among the consequences of long-time exposure to online gaming. Not to mention the social aftermath that involves poor sleep hygiene, exhaustion, social anxiety, and interpersonal conflicts. If we go even deeper, we begin to bring enormous surfaces like depression and suicidal thoughts. The moral angle, as the author calls it, depicts the expression of women as sexual objects in video games. These sexist morals are instilled into a person, making them think of females as passive and someone to be rescued. There are also games that are monumented as sex objects to win and lose. Often, video games prove to be hunting grounds for sexual predators. There is also dishonoring existence of the gambling society. In the name of freedom, innovation, industry supporting the economy, as the author states, the blatant waste of time and resources is justified. We remember the sayings in the Quran. There is an instruction to the Prophet that when asked about intoxicants and gambling, he used to say, there is great evil in both, as well as some benefit for some people, but the evil outweighs the benefit. The author further concludes by expressing his viewpoints on the complete overall of online gaming and gambling. He says, the challenge of online gaming should be addressed by looking at it through moral prism. This may require its complete overall. If I express my perspective over the whole article, I find it quite absorbing. It includes everything that it must, proofing statements with data that provides stability and strong construct to it. After all, when the world is moving so fast on its decisions, we must take a step back and take into consideration that some innovations may not be morally advantageous for us all after all. Thank you all for patiently listening to me. And this was my perspective about these two articles. Jazakallah khair.
Tribute to great personalities, learning from their journey plays an important role in the growth of people. Also, how the aspect of morality plays a vital role in the industries that our youth today is surrounded by, and the harmful effects at many levels that are making their way in a hidden manner in the minds and lifestyles of the youth today. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have indeed been benefited by your reviews and thoughts on the articles. That is it, concluding with all of the speakers in the panel today. I thank all our experts for taking out their time and providing us with their beneficial views. Indeed, each and every one has been an inspiration to us today. I thank the entire audience who chose to spend their afternoon with us today and giving this event such energy. I would now like to invite Samina Afshan ma'am, editor of Aura magazine, for her comments.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope I'm audible.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. May peace, blessings, and mercy of the Almighty be upon all of you. I'm indeed grateful today to the organizers of Aura Readers Club Kuwait for organizing such a wonderful program, such a beautiful one. I thank all the experts who came up today with your comments, with your appreciation, with your support, with your critique, with all your encouraging words. Thank you, one and all. Today's program, right from the beginning, if you see, the impeccable anchoring of Sister Afreen Zafar, the beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran, the expert advices given by our esteemed panelists, esteemed experts, everything was wonderful. And I'm delighted with the feeling that with the February 2023 issue, Aura has brought out 24 issues in total. Alhamdulillah, all praises to the Almighty. And we have completed 2 years. When Aura came up with the first issue, Team Aura started off with all enthusiasm, with the motto of redefining the way how women's issues are portrayed, how women's issues are brought into limelight, how women's issues are addressed. So Aura came with the motto of giving a space to the proper portrayal of women's issues. And now this enthusiasm which we started has grown manifold with the support of our readers and contributors. We are nothing without the support of our readers and contributors. Aura takes pride to say that its contributors consist of many first-time writers, many first-time poets, and many first-time artists. We giving space to their voices, giving space to their opinions. So, as coming back to Aura's Readers Club program today, which we conduct, this kind of program we conduct every month. This program, Aura Readers Club program, is very important to us. We really look forward to this day because we get to know our shortcomings, we get to know our flaws, and we get to know the scope for our improvement. So you have done a wonderful job by giving us a very good feedback of all what we have in this February issue. So I will not take much of your time. You have listened to so many experts here. I invite all of you here on the panel today, all those who are watching our program online, all those who are watching us live on YouTube, subscribe Aura e-magazine, download its app, follow us on all our social media platforms. Please do that. Keep reading and keep letting us know the areas of improvement. And I invite again all you experts to write for Aura also. I can see a writer in all of you. With all your comments and all your suggestions, I can really see a writer in all of you. So we at Aura believe that every woman is unique. She has a unique aura and she has a distinctive experience. So bring out your experience. We are open to all the contributors for their contributions, for their writings. We will definitely give a platform to all the first-time writers to thank you one and all for such a nice program, and keep reading and keep supporting us. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, ma'am. Thank you so much for your comments and such power and motivation to us all. Thank you so much. Moving to the end of our event, I am very pleased to invite our big support behind this entire event and the key personality behind the composition and working of Aura magazine, that is Rahmatun Nisa ma'am, Chief Editor of Aura magazine. She is the member of Muslim Board and co-secretary of Women's Wing Jamaat Islami Hind. I welcome Rahmatun Nisa ma'am for her concluding thoughts about Aura.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the Almighty, the creator of all of us and the entire universe, shower his mercy and blessings upon all of us. I was very much moved and very happy to listen to all of you. First of all, I would like to express my love and my respect for all your opinions and my gratitude to all of you. It was a wonderful session. Aura Readers Club, the very idea we started 1 year back when we reached 1 year of during our first anniversary, we started this Readers Club programs, and we have been conducting it state by state in India. And this is the first program that we have been conducting outside India, considering that we have a considerable number of readers abroad. Be it Indians or non-Indians also. We have readers from many countries living abroad in different countries who contribute and who read Aura. And we have in our editorial board also, we have 2 members who live in the Gulf countries. So considering this, we thought we should start our Readers Club programs, and we must listen to our readers abroad also regarding what they think about Aura. And the sincerity of all the reviewers today, we must appreciate, because they have done their homework, they have gone through the articles, and they added from their own expertise and their own point of view. And I really appreciate those who have given added comments on where our writers can improve. It means really a lot to our readers, our writers. Because as you all know, or you might not be might be knowing or might not be knowing, anyway, it is with pleasure, it is my duty to inform you that our writers, as Sabina Saiba said, we have many writers are find a platform through Aura to pen down for the first time. It doesn't mean that they don't have the talent, but their talent was not identified or recognized by even them. And when we tell them you have to write, you have the talent, they started writing. And they were not substandard articles. They were good articles and much appreciated and accepted by our readers. We also conducted a workshop for selected writers, selecting from across the country. Around 35 young ladies and girls attended the workshop and benefited. So what we want is, we as a team, as a group, the editorial board of Aura, the writers and contributors of Aura, and our readers, we all should grow together, recognizing our feminine strength, recognizing our hidden potential, and utilizing it for the benefit, positively for the benefit of ourselves, our family, and the society at large, and benefit in this world and the hereafter. Of course, as you all know, it's not a secret. It's clear that this magazine is run by Muslim women. It comes from the Muslim women's platform. And we have a lot of content which is educating the community, the work of Islam, the real teachings of Islam. What are the real teachings of Islam, and where it deviates from the culture of the place where we live. And this we try to educate and bring out the real rights of women, and also everyone's duties, and how we can have a happy life in this world and the hereafter. This we try to educate. But at the same time, we are very much inclusive, and we want to include more and more writers from every culture and every religion. And we want our articles to benefit, Aura should be beneficial to everyone across cultures and communities. Because at the end of the day, as women, we all, our basic needs are the same. basic aspirations are the same, basic experiences are the same, and everyone needs to be benefited from Aura. This is what we want. So I invite all of you, in irrespective of our expertise, whichever field we are experts, you can contribute to Aura if you think this will benefit Aura readers. And another thing that I would like to tell all of you is that, many people say that reading has come to an end. No, nowadays people don't read. Printing and publishing, all these are a waste of time, and not people are not reading. People are into short videos and social media. Because of the influence of social media, people are not into serious reading. But out of our experience, we can understand that this will never end. The power of the word. The word has its power, and whether only the form has changed. Maybe some people are reading it in the social media. They are not just literally taking a book and reading. That doesn't mean that reading has ended. Until the last day, as long as mankind exists, reading, as Francis Bacon said, reading only makes a perfect man and woman. So in order to make our life more and more perfect, more and more excellence, it is a journey of excellence. So we need to read, and for that, the main challenge that we face today is we have a lot of content in the social media, on internet available. If we just click health, lot of millions of articles will come. But which one is authentic? Which one we need to follow? That is a problem. Family life, women's rights, or Muslim women's rights, or what Islam talks about women, Quran and women. There are millions of content coming. But the problem is the authenticity of these articles, which is good and which is really authentic, which is really correct. This is where the confusion arises. So our attempt is to provide with authentic source of reading for serious readers who want to be something and do something for the society and for themselves, to bring changes in the positive in their own lives. So that way, these kind of reviews also means a lot for us, because we believe in, we all know that perfection is something that is with the Lord Almighty, the Creator. But we all need to strive for excellence. It's a journey. Excellence is like a journey, it never ends. But for that, what our readers understood, or what our readers want to know, that is also very important. So that is why we started this review programs. And it is really proving to be fruitful, and today's session was really very useful. And I would like to congratulate Afreen Zafar, the anchor of the day. She did a wonderful job, and IMA and IWA organizers or office bearers for giving their time and collecting such a wonderful line of reviewers who did a wonderful job. And Saumya, the Tilawat, it was a very good start, beautiful start it was. Her recitation was really, really very good. And I also would like to thank Pushpa Pal, Fatima Sonu, Dr. Selva, Dr. Navjot, Nitha Bhatkar, Mariam Afros, Dr. Semina Malik, Mehnas. All of you did a wonderful job, and you took your time to review Aura. And at the finally, this is what I would like to say: Aura is yours. Own it, nurture it, and grow with it. May the Almighty bless all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind, motivating, and informative words. May we all be encouraged and motivated to read and grow like you said. With immense happiness. With immense happiness, I would like to sum up the event, thanking each and every one of you present here, all the organizers and viewers without whom this event would not have been a success. May this be a beautiful ongoing journey with the Aura family, with its writers and readers growing day by day. I conclude with the supplication of the closing of the event. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Translation: O Allah, you are free from every imperfection. Praise be to you. I testify that there is no true God except you. I ask your pardon and turn to you in repentance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.